quick turnaround and service specials for free pickup and delivery. Click our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com for details.
Longview Community Bank provides real local ag lending. Vice President and Loan Officer Nate Sims here, asking you to find out the many ag lending products we can offer your farm by clicking our ad on the local news page of DeWittDailyNews.com.
Agri Talk is the radio talk show for American agriculture. Hi, everybody. I'm Chip Moore, your host. We join you weekday mornings from 10 until 11 on WHOW, on AM and FM, and on the WHOW streams. We provide
farmers and ranchers with timely insights and information aimed at improving their operations. Join me, Chip Flory, weekdays at 10:06 on Central Illinois Ag Station, WHOW.
WHOW is Central Illinois' ag station, and that includes providing farmers information on how the commodity markets close each day and week. I'm Todd Gleason from Illinois Public Media, University of Illinois Extension, inviting you to hear the daily closing market report weekday afternoons at 5:06, and on Saturdays, tune in for Commodity Week with a review of the week's markets at 8:30 in the morning, all on WHOW, AM, FM, and streamed online.
You're from the Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio, Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council. Good morning, Curt.
Good morning, Seth.
How about the Kentucky Derby? What'd you think?
I thought it was a great race. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and
a little sloppy from what I heard.
Very sloppy. I watch it every year, and this year did not disappoint.
No,
for sure.
They didn't have the favorite win again, I feel like.
Correct.
Yeah.
But good race.
Yeah. So you're a big horse racing guy.
I am.
When somebody turns on the Derby, that's the one horse. Maybe they watch like the Preakness, or what's the stakes? What's the Belmont Stakes, like that? And that's the Triple Crown, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So when they turn on maybe they're watching these are the three races they pick up on a yearly basis. What should they be watching for? As this race is going on, I watch it and I'm just like, horses running fast, amazing. They're amazing creatures. They really are. But I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Yeah, particularly with the Derby, there's 20 horses that run in that race.
And isn't it the biggest track of the three?
No, it isn't.
Okay.
But the longest distance is not. It's not the longest distance race. But it is the most horses in the race, and really anything can happen in that race because there's so many, and they can get boxed in or can't get to the lead, or so there's just so much that goes on with that race. It's just, I just tell people if the Kentucky Derby is the only race you watch it with friends, have a good time, and just enjoy the day. For sure.
Yeah, it's like watching what's the cricket. It's like watching cricket. I have no idea what's going on, but it's still fun. So be that as it may, Curt, we appreciate you making time for us. Let's dive into, you were chatting with me before we got started about basically a government council, a summit of local leaders to come together. Tell me what your idea is with this, and kind of where it's at, I guess.
Yep. So we're going to call it the DeWitt County Government Leaders Summit. And ultimately, it's bringing together all the government leaders from the communities together, or at least some of those. It may not be every council person, but representation from every government within every city or community government within the city, within the county, and bring those together in a room. And ultimately, the idea is there's probably some common interests that come in that room. A lot of potential collaboration can happen. Really, the idea came from, the county board was looking at updating its strategic plan here recently,
right?
And they've decided to put that on hold, for financial reasons, and I understand that. But the reality of it is we can pull those leaders together and have those same discussions that they may get from an update to their strategic plan, and maybe help the county board guide some decisions in the future. But also part of that is there may be some collaborative efforts that come out of that community. So if every community says, hey, we really need to market our town, our county better, and that resonates with everybody. Hey, you know what? We can do some combined efforts in that area and assist in that regard. The other thing from DCDC's perspective, and maybe the county perspective as a whole, sometimes Clinton and Farmer City, as the two largest communities, sometimes get most of the attention. And, there certainly are other very important communities within DeWitt County that may feel left out. So we want to get them in, and we want to hear their ideas and how we can assist them as well.
Sure.
I'm super excited about it. It's something we hope to turn into an annual event. And, it'll be, we don't have exact dates yet. We haven't made contacts with all the communities, but we're looking at a late summer time.
Okay.
We want to avoid vacation time, but we want to avoid back to school time as well.
Right.
So probably end of July-ish.
I mean, is there really a good time?
There never is.
Yeah, there never is.
Always some conflict.
Yeah, there's something. There's
and we
always
don't
something.
expect, everyone that wants to come can come.
Yeah.
But they'll be able to come in the future. But we really feel like every community will be represented.
So getting this kind of up and going, I feel like maybe early on there will be some whether it's like inventory taken of, where is each community at? What are their needs? What are their wants? Some of those things. And then that leads into the other things you're talking about. Will this be more a more like a frequent thing right off the bat, or will it just be longer because it's new the first time around?
We don't want anyone to walk away from it thinking, oh my God, I just wasted an entire day, by any means. And I've been to those types of meetings, unfortunately. But the reality
hopefully
of it is,
these aren't one of those.
I don't anticipate they will be. Sometimes, we just want to share, here's what's going on. Hey, if anyone can help in this regard, yes, we want to do that. So again, it's not going to be an all day or an all weekend summit. It's going to be a few hours, and we want to make it super productive. And we'll prep people coming in time. We may have them fill out a survey as well, so if they don't get to share everything, they can at least have brought things in that get to be left with everyone. So
got it.
Yeah, we don't want to make people dread this event, and I don't think we will. I think most people will go away thinking, I'm really glad we did that, and can't wait for next year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and with that said, while DeWitt County is relatively small, I mean, there's probably a lot of leadership that will be at the table for this.
I think there will be too. And the other interesting thing is leadership changes. We just had elections. We have, while some of it stays the same, some of it does change. So, I think that's important as well, that, people come in with different ideas and different thoughts or see things a little bit differently, and they can present that. But absolutely.
Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, in studio with us today. So what are some things whether it's the strategic plan the county has, or just what about these communities and DeWitt County as a whole? What do you hope to see come from this? Like, what's your end goal with all of this?
Well, ultimately, information. I think that's the immediate goal, I guess. So you asked for end, but I gave you immediate. It's really important to know the best ways that anyone can assist, whether it's county, whether it's a nearby community, whether it's DCDC, whatever it is. We want to find out that information and then work forward through that. But ultimately, again, I envision Larry Wolling actually at one time was telling me about a program he implemented at one time where communities would purchase manhole covers together, and I thought that was kind of odd, and I said, well, why is that? And he said, because there's a significant savings when you buy multiple numbers. So if you've got 10 communities buying them or 8 communities buying them, you save a lot of money per manhole cover. So he organized that, and each community saved several $100s on manhole covers when they need them. And I thought, okay, well, that's not a tremendous saving, but the idea is there.
Yeah.
If we're going to be, again, marketing, I'll go back to marketing. If we're going to be marketing Clinton Lake as an example, well, then, that benefits Clinton, it benefits Farmer City, it benefits Weldon, it benefits, I mean, there's a lot of communities that could impact from that, and they could say, hey, we'd like to tag along with some advertising because we have this event going on, we have this festival going on, we have this attraction that we'd like to highlight. So potentially there's ways to share some costs and some things as well.
Got it.
And again, getting these people together in the same room, I think that just could open up a lot of doors.
Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like there's good communication among everybody in this kind of circle you're talking about, I guess?
I'll be honest with you, I really don't know, and I really don't think so. I mean, I think I don't think it's bad necessarily. I think if there's an issue, someone would be able to pick up the phone and call a neighboring community. But I don't think they communicate on a regular basis or even semi-regular basis. So I think this would open up that door for sure.
Gotcha. Did you have we like set a date or a place or anything like that?
No, we're looking likely the first one will be here in Clinton, and again, we're tentatively shooting for the end of July.
Got it. Very good. Well, Curt, I'll tell you what. Let's. I look at the clock. We're a little ahead of a break, but rather than start a whole conversation and have to cut it off because of break, let's just do it now. Best way for folks to learn about DCDC.
Reach out anytime via phone, 217-935-5271. Follow us on Facebook, and that number you can text as well.
Very good. Wonderful. Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, my guest in studio. More to come with Curt on the morning show.
WHOW.
Don't miss the Farming in the 50s Antique Tractor Show in Argenta. And WHOW, the Big 1520 AM, 92.3 FM radio, is doing a live broadcast from this event. The Farming in the 50s Antique Tractor Show is happening Saturday, May 10th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in downtown Argenta. There will be hit and miss engines, steam engine tractor, a parade, Tot Rod Kids pedal tractor pull, tractor games, and even food stands too. Come out to enjoy all the fun at the Farming in the 50s Antique Tractor Show and listen as WHOW 1520 AM, 92.3 FM radio broadcast live thanks to these sponsors. Anella Farms, located at 10502 Trucillas Lane in Argenta. Check out their Facebook page for dates and locations of sales. Todd Metzger with RK Rental Properties LLC in Argenta. And Argenta in Motion, located at 330 North Warren Street in Argenta. A small town with a big heart.
Shane here from Highway 51 Exchange, just south of Clinton. Let us service your lawn and garden equipment for spring with our quick turnaround and service specials for free pickup and delivery. Click our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com for details.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air and online 24 hours a day. The latest local news stories are heard every hour on Central Illinois' news station, the Big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW. Stream live at DeWittDailyNews.com. They're also heard every hour on the station that's your easy choice, 95.9 FM WEZC. And to read the latest local news on your electronic device, including tablets, iPhones, and smartphones, go to DeWittDailyNews.com. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air, online 24 hours a day.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, my guest in studio here for this morning. And Curt, as we catch up, I know recently we talked about the rowing competition at Clinton Lake. I had the DNR guys in last week, and they said, if you've never been to that, they said this. They
Absolutely.
said, if you've never been to it, you've got to get out and see it. They said it's just phenomenal what these athletes can do.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, that was another successful year, and it just really highlights a lot. DeWitt County has a lot going on in terms of events, activities that, that a lot of counties don't have, and part of it is the lake, and part of it isn't the lake. But there's so much going on. And in fact, you mentioned the Kentucky Derby, kind of as an event, but we have some of those really cool events locally as well. And and I just want to share a few of those. We can go through some of that list, but the takeaway from that is there's going to be a lot of visitors all throughout the county, and it's so important that folks that live here or are here on a regular basis, be very, very mindful of those folks. Help them out, wave, say hello, be friendly. That goes as far as anything else that does. But that being said, it's great for DeWitt County to have the tourism and the fair festival activity that brings people in from out of town. But Illinois Rowing is one. The other collegiate event, there's the NCAA collegiate triathlon that's going to take place again this year. That was September of last year, and that's the female version. But again, we have great facilities with lake and to be able to hold that event. Farmers City had the Illini 100 stock car race a couple weeks ago. They've got the Lucas Oil race, which is as big or bigger of a race that'll bring that'll double the population at the fairgrounds. There'll be 4,000 people out there over the weekend.
I got to tell you this. We were doing some spring cleaning at our house this weekend, and I was going through some stuff in my closet, and it had come over from my parents' house, and there was old pantographs in this collection, and it was highlighting the World of Outlaw races at Farmer City, and like Dale Blaney was there. Oh gosh, there's a few others that I'm blanking on their names at the moment, but big names show up at Farmer City when the World of Outlaws come to town. Yeah. So the
Justin Allgaier, who
Allgaier
in NASCAR, he raced several times.
I know Kyle Larson's been to Farmer City.
Larson,
he's my guy.
Kenny Wallace
comes
pretty regularly still.
Okay.
In fact, I have a photo with him at one of the local restaurants.
Really?
Funny story. I don't want to take
please, I'm all about it. Let's do it.
I was out there. Of course, they have their Toyota racing shirts on, and I'm just sort of playing welcome to the community. So I said, hey, and I knew who he was, but I said, hey, you here for the race? And Kenny Wallace looks up at me. He's like, no, we're on our way to Indianapolis. We're in a bowling tournament, the matching shirts and all. And and he's like, of course we're here for the race. He's just going on. He's kind of making fun of me. And one of the guys at the table says, you know who this is? I said, no. And of course I did. He's like, you know who this is? He's like, this is Kenny Wallace. I said, oh, well, nice to meet you. He's like, Kenny Wallace, he's a big NASCAR racer.
So you were giving it back to him a little bit.
Give it back to him. It was a lot of fun. But he comes regularly, loves coming to Farmer City and some other tracks as well. But anyway, that's
awesome.
Yeah,
nice.
it was fun. So
he seems like a good personality. I've seen him on like Dale Jr.'s podcast before and stuff like that. So
he is. A lot of those guys are.
Yeah, they're great people. They're great people for the most part. Yeah.
But and of course, May Days is coming up here in town. Heritage Days is coming up as well. And Apple and Pork, of course, we can't forget Apple and Pork. That's later in the fall, of course. But just the everyday visitors that come to the lake. Again, there's just so much traffic that comes through here. And the other one that's really interesting is the Clinton DMV. I don't know if you've noticed, but there is a lot of traffic at Clinton DMV.
A ton, all the time.
And so I said, why is that? Why all of a sudden is there a ton of traffic?
It's the remodel, right?
Well, what I was told is Decatur and Bloomington, if you want to get services, you have to make an appointment. Clinton does not require an appointment. So we are pulling in people from Decatur and Bloomington. Now, all of a sudden, from an economic development perspective, you think, okay, we've got extra people in town. And that's a good thing. The downside is we have to wait longer, to renew our stickers and do whatever we need to do. But the other side of it is we're getting a lot more people in town. Maybe we can capture some of that, some of those dollars locally.
A story for you. A friend of mine over the weekend he lives up in the Chicago area, but he was at his local DMV. He was there all morning.
Yeah.
I feel like we're lucky to have a small town DMV where it's like you may have to wait 15, 20 minutes, but you're not there for an hour and a half. Yeah. 2+ hours in his case. So
no doubt. But give yourself extra time, because I will tell you, the last sticker renewal I had, you cannot just pop in and think, oh, I'm going to be there 5 minutes. It does take longer than that now. So anyway.
Interesting. All righty, Curt.
But lots of events, lots of fun stuff happening in DeWitt County, and this time of the year is exciting for me.
Sure,
for sure.
We were talking before we got started. There's a Clinton City Council meeting tomorrow night. Farmer City Council meets tonight. How much of the county board last month? I don't know if you were there. We didn't get to make it, but
I was.
Yeah. So how, like, for you, how much of an emphasis do you put on being there for these? Whether it's the meeting, whether there's something on the agenda that you're interested in. How about those things?
Yeah. So it's always important. So I'll back up a little bit. I have meetings virtually every night, and even some weekend nights too. So
gosh, I thought my schedule was busy.
No, most of the time I have to pick and choose where I'm at. But going to city meetings, county meetings are incredibly important. But there's a whole lot of other meetings I have to filter in. So many times I have to pick and choose, where I'm going to be at. My schedule is a lot easier at 9 a.m. than it is at 7 p.m.
Right.
I mean,
right.
there's just always something.
You're like a realtor. Yeah.
Yeah. In many cases, yes. So
the evening is your
and sometimes I need to be there to make an appearance. But this week is really a fun week. I'll be at Farmer City Council meeting tonight, but Thursday we'll have our grant presentation. So we're going to give away some money.
Yeah, that's right.
Later in the week, I've been asked to do some scholarship presentations at Blue Ridge School, so I'm super excited to do that as well. Got it. Yeah.
See,
absolutely.
I thought you were going to say it's a super fun week because you get to go to all these meetings, and like as a person that has to attend these meetings, and I hold nothing against the people that hold them. They're very, very good people. I like all of them, but there's nothing I could want less than to sit through a government meeting. Like that's
because we work so closely with governments,
right.
It's important for me to be there because that sort of just reminds people that I'm here and DCDC's here to assist in any way that we can.
Gotcha. And like when you're talking about you receive funding from them, like you don't just want to show up once a year and be like, hey, we're here for our annual check. Correct. Right. You want to be visible and there. So.
No, and we want to be an active, assistance throughout the year, and whether I'm at a meeting or I'm never at a meeting.
Right.
To be honest with you, most of the work doesn't happen at those meetings. It happens outside of those.
Speaking of just kind of work and things that happen, anything like economic development wise that is happening that you can speak to at this point?
Well, I will throw out there that the Longview Bank looks like they may be
close.
open, I think they're going to have their official opening in the middle of the month. I think they're going to have a soft opening earlier, and maybe that's already happened. So, but their doors will be open soon. That's exciting, and there are some other things that are going on. Unfortunately, can't talk about a lot of those yet, but looks like here in Clinton, we'll see some new things here very, very soon that people will notice very quickly.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, it's one of those things where like folks probably listen to the interview, whether they're watching on YouTube and Facebook or they listen to it online or whatever the case may be. It's like, gosh, he never talks about economic development and what's happening. Well, a lot of it you can't talk about, you know what I mean? So until it happens, and then it's like great news. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have regular one-on-one or one-on-two meetings with business or potential business almost every week. So last week was no exception, and a couple of really cool things in the future.
Well, we can't wait to hear about it when you can talk about it, Curt. Always good to talk to you, though, this morning. What's the best way for folks to follow along with all things DCDC?
Follow us on Facebook for sure, and reach out anytime, 935-5271.
Curt Homann, Executive Director of the DeWitt County Development Council, my guest in studio for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news comes your way next on the morning show.
WHOW.